Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Anthony, one of your technology trainers here. Today, hosting your webinar. I have your trainer here by the name of Marcel Johnson. Marcel, would you like to introduce tell me a little bit about, or tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marcel Johnson. I'm with the Rancho Southeast Association of Realtors. I hold the position of Association Resource and Training Manager. Basically, whatever you need, contact me and I'll get the answer for you, as well as the training that we do here. I've been doing this training for about 7 years now, and happy to be here with Rancho Southeast and looking forward to doing this DigitalInk e-signature course for you today.
Excellent. And just so everybody knows, we are recording today's webinar so that everybody will get a copy of today's webinar emailed to them. And we will post our recorded webinar on our YouTube channel, which we'll touch on in just a few minutes. And if there are any questions, please feel free to type it into the chat, and I'll be more than happy to read those questions back over to Marcel, okay? So what we're gonna now do is we're just gonna jump right into it, and I'm going to make Marcel the presenter. So here we go. Take it away, Marcel.
Okay, so can you guys see my screen now?
I can.
You
Can
can.
everybody
Okay.
else? Yep, everybody can see it.
All right, awesome. Okay, so we did a class earlier today on Zip Forms 101, which for the most part we set up some templates and put together a transaction. So now in this course, which we'll be going over the e-signature process, I've already have a transaction that's already in place. So I'm going to hover over the transactions tab here. And then I have my transactions displayed here. Get rid of that. I have my transactions displayed below here. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to go into the transaction for my client, the Johnsons. And in this transaction here, this comes up, this toolbar here for me to follow, or I can have the summary of the transactions, everything's listed there, the parties, and then I'm going to go to the documents. Now, here's all the documents that I've compiled that need to be signed by the parties in the transaction. So for the sake of training, we're going to do borrower 1 and borrower 2 because we're representing the buyer. So I'm sorry, not borrower, buyer 1 and buyer 2. Now, if you're not familiar with the cover sheet, we went over this earlier today in the class. The cover sheet is going to be your best friend in terms of trying to complete the e-signature process. So hopefully you're using the cover sheet in your transactions. The reason why the cover sheet is valuable in this particular case is, I'm going to go ahead and click on the cover sheet and open that up. The reason why this cover sheet is valuable is because it has signing. You're going to be assigning the signers, okay? So for buyer 1, I'm going to put Tiffany Johnson, and then her email. I'm going to send it to myself so I can show you the complete process. Let's see, M-A-R, yep, I spelled it wrong. marcelj@rsaor.com. Okay. Of course, you guys know how important it is to have the right email in there. Okay, so my buyer 1 is going to be Tiffany Johnson, and then my buyer 2 is going to be Emil Johnson. And I'm putting an email in there, okay? Now, what I'm doing here is I'm assigning anywhere on the documents that it asks for the buyer 1, it's going to import this name. I'm sorry, buyer 1. Anywhere on the documents that asks for buyer 1, it's going to import this name. Anywhere on the documents that asks for buyer 2, it's going to import this name. And if you'll scroll down here, it already has the information on the property there. And so anywhere that the seller's broker's information needs to be, it's going to import that information there. And it should have had my information here in the buyer section. Let's see here. But anyway, didn't fill that out there. So it's not needed for what I'm trying to show you. So in your cover sheet, you want to fill out the assigning parties, okay? So now that I've filled out the assigning parties, I can click back or you can click save. I'm just going to show you here by clicking back, it's going to automatically save that information for you, and then it lets you know up top that it saved it. It would do the same thing if you click the save button, but it wouldn't come back to this screen. So what we're going to do, we're going to want to send out our we're assuming that our documents are all fully completed out and ready to be executed by our needed parties to sign. You're going to see the icon over here where it says e-sign. I'm going to click on the e-sign icon, and then we're going to start a signing packet by clicking on new right here on the top. So we're going to start a new signing packet. Now, this is where it's going to list all of the documents that you have in your transaction, and then you can select which documents you want them to sign. So for example, you would want them to sign the disclosure regarding the agency relationship, the California purchase agreement. So just for the sake of training, those are the two documents that we're going to send out right now, okay? And then the cover sheet for the most part is going to be for your notes. You're not on a regular practice going to be sending that to anybody. It's just going to be for you. So I've selected these two documents. Now in the top corner over here, I can add an external document. Okay, now these are all the CAR documents. I can just add an external document and then I can browse my computer for an external document. Now, in order for the external document to be compatible with your e-signature process, it does have to be a PDF, okay? So I think I was going to go with the, let's see here. I'm sorry, let me just locate a document really quick. Rodney. All right, I'm just going to throw in a flyer, okay? So this is the flyer that I've selected as an external document, and I'm going to click OK. Now, by clicking OK, you can see in the background that it added that document. So if you had another document you wanted to upload, you can repeat this process until you have added all of the external documents that you wish to add. So right now, I have these two documents and I add an external document and I'm complete with the documents I want to send. So I'm going to click Close. Okay. Now, by clicking that, we are now at the documents that we want to have sent out. You know what? I forgot to show you guys the settings for Docusign or DigitalInk. But anyway, we'll complete this process. I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm gonna go back here. Uh-oh.
That's all okay.
Well, my VPN disconnected, so give me 1 second. Log on.
Gotta love technology sometimes, right?
Right. All right, so now I'm back in here. Okay. So back to where we're gonna start all over again, okay? Sorry about that, guys. So in your homepage here on your dashboard, I want to bring your attention right here to the Me box up here. And on the Me box, you can click on the Me box and then go to your profile and settings. You don't have to do this process because you're already going to be defaulted to DigitalInk. What I'm showing you right now is that you have a DocuSign is compatible with zip forms with the e-signature. So if you have a DocuSign membership that you're already subscribed to, you're able to import that membership, the subscription into zip forms and execute the e-signature using your DocuSign account. You get a free DigitalInk account, but if you have already a DocuSign account that you're paying for, it's compatible with the system. DocuSign also has a free membership account that you can do a limited number of transactions per month on. So that's why it's best if you just go with the DigitalInk account. But if you wanted to, you can go right here to Me, Profile and Settings, and then over here to Settings. By clicking on Settings, it'll bring you to the page where you have the option of selecting DigitalInk just released a newer version of 2.0, and they have the one that you're more familiar with of the 1.0. most people are using currently 1.0. We're going to start doing some training on the new amenities that are in the 2.0 version, but for the most part, it's the same process. But as you can see right here, it has the bullet sign where I can select DocuSign to use my DocuSign membership. And then once you do the DocuSign membership, it'll allow you to link your subscription, okay? So right now I'm doing this with the DocuSign linked subscription, okay? And the reason why I wanted to point that out is because I'm going to, after I complete this, do the same steps using the DigitalInk. So we're going to go back into the Johnsons, then we're going to go back to our documents, and then we're going to click the e-sign because I'm ready to send the documents. And then I'm going to click new because I'm starting a new packet. Now this is where we were before. We selected this document and this document, and then I'm going to add an external document. And again, remember, any external document that you add, it just has to be a PDF. There's a room full of attorneys ready to go to court, ready to go to bat for you guys on the validity of these signatures. All they ask on their end is for it to be a PDF document. So I've uploaded my external document. Now I'm going to close this. Now here is the disclosure, the purchase agreement, and the external document that I have uploaded, okay? So here, this is the name of the packet. You have the opportunity to rename the packet, but by default, this is going to be signature packet number 1. And then right here, you have the ability to use the service that you want. Right now, I'm using DocuSign. And remember in the settings, where I was showing you, that's where you were choosing DocuSign in your settings. So that's why DocuSign is here just by default. But let's say for this particular transaction, I wanted to use DigitalInk or DigitalInk 2.0, I can switch it up right here by using this drop down, okay? And then again, if I needed to add an external document, I can click on this icon here. So assuming that these are the contracts that I wanted to send out to be signed, I can go over here in the next, and it'll progress us to the next section. Now, this is where the cover sheet, go ahead.
Excuse me, Marcel.
Mhm.
Angela said, "Oh my God, this is awesome. I have DocuSign through my real estate company. Hopefully, I can link it to my zip forms." So, yes, Marcel just shows you how to link your zip forms to your or DocuSign to your zip forms. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I think it's a really awesome tool, don't you?
Yes, yes, you can use your DocuSign, and you guys will probably have several contracts and things already going and set up in your DocuSign account. That's why CAR has extended the compatibility of their zip forms digital ink, of their zip forms packet with the compatibility of DocuSign. So you can just continue to work, and you already know how to use that interface. If that's what you're more comfortable with, you can keep going with the DocuSign.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a really good feature, and it saves a lot of steps, as
Mhm.
Marcel will demonstrate.
Okay, so these are the documents that we want to send out. So we're going to go ahead and click the next button. And as I was sharing before, the cover sheet where you assign the parties their position, you'll be able to see here that I have in the buyer 1 position, I have Tiffany Johnson. In the buyer 2 position, I have Emil Johnson, and then their email is displayed here. And then you see the role is displayed. So the reason why that cover sheet is important is because everywhere the listing agent is needed to sign on all of the CAR documents, it will automatically import Alvin. Anywhere the buyer 2 is needed, anywhere the buyer 1 is needed, it'll automatically import these names into those signing positions. And if you have not assigned someone in the position, like let's say you skip the cover sheet, you can just come here and create new, and you can add them. I can just add Robert Johnson, and let's say he is seller 1, and his email is, okay, so I put in his name, and I'm going to add the signer. And once you click add signer, it adds it, but you stay here and add another person. I don't have another person to add, so there is where he is now there in the transaction. And then here's the other signers that are there. Okay, so I'm sorry, add signer. Now I want to add these people. So now here's all of my signers that have been assigned to the transaction. Okay. Now I have Robert Johnson in the seller 1 position, Alvin in the listing agent position, Emil buyer 2, Tiffany in buyer 1. Now you can rearrange these if you wanted someone to get the documents first, because the numbers here, this is something that I also want to bring your attention to. The numbers here, these are the order that the documents are going to go out. Okay. So they're going to go to this person first. And then once this person has signed the documents, then they'll go to this person and so on. Once Alvin has signed the documents, they'll go to Emil. Once Emil has signed them, they'll go to Tiffany. You want to pay attention to this section because you may have spouses or business partners, and we just want to kind of help you avoid upsetting them, possibly by maybe, you know, them receiving the documents and the other person saying, well, you know, do they think you're more important than I am, that you got them before me or whatever? So to try to avoid that, you can have Robert and Alan get them at the same time by changing the numbers here. And then once Robert and Alan have received them simultaneously, once they have completed their signing part, then it'll go on to the second person. And then once the second person signs, it'll go on to the third person. If you don't want to be bothered with any of the signing orders, you can just have them all be in the first position. And it'll go to all of the people listed there. And then once all of them have signed them, then they'll come back to you as completed. Okay? Now, for the sake of training, I'm going to go back and go next because I don't want them to go to Alvin. I don't want them to go to Emil. I only want them to go to Tiffany. Okay. And then I'm going to, you have the ability to remove at any time by clicking on the trash icon over there. It's asking, do I want to remove this signer? Yes. So for the sake of training, I only want them to go to Tiffany. Okay. So now this is who the documents are going to go to. And I'm going to click the next button. And it's taking a while. And make sure, okay. So again, it's using my Docusign account, and it has this is the document that I'm sending out to be signed. And as you can see here, it already has the field. Let's enlarge that a little bit. It has the field where Tiffany is going to sign. So all she has to do is click on that, it'll sign it and it'll date it, okay? Now this is a CAR document. Let me go back down a little bit. This is a CAR document, okay? So I don't need to tell it where to sign or anything like that because it already knows. You can see anywhere that Tiffany needs to sign, it already has the space there, right? Now we're gonna go to the external document that I uploaded. So this is the external document that I uploaded. It's just a flyer on a bowling event that we had planned here. But this could be a contract or anything that you see fit that may need to be signed. As you can see, I'm going to go ahead and zoom back in here. Now down here, this is where they may need to put their credit card information and stuff like that. You see right here where it says cardholder signature. I'm going to need to tell it where to sign. So this is where I need Tiffany to sign. So I'm going to place this where I need Tiffany to sign there. Okay. Now, if I needed an initial anywhere else on the document, I can just click for them and where I want their initial to go. The point that we're bringing up here is that the external documents don't know where the signatures need to go, so you have to tell it. So I've told it that I need a signature to go there and I need an initial to go there. And the party who was doing that is Tiffany Johnson. If I had assigned any other signers, you could click right here, and then I removed Robert and I removed Emil. But if I needed them to sign it, this is where I could toggle between telling it Tiffany's signature here and then Tiffany's initial here, and then I could have toggled and put someone else's signature somewhere else. Okay, so now we've placed all of the signatures on the document. We're in the places that we need. You have the ability to do initials, timestamp, date signed, names, company. These are all of the fields that you can add to the for them to sign on the documents. But since these are CAR documents, we don't need to. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and click send once all the signatures are ready. And thank you for using Docusign. And that's letting you know that your signature, your packet has been sent out to your client to be signed. Now, for the sake of training, we're going to go ahead and click close here. And then you see when you close that, there's an email notification. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll take you to the email, but it's sending an email letting me know that documents are ready to sign. That was in my personal email. That wasn't in Docusign. I'm sorry, digital zip forms. So here's the signature packet that I just sent out to that client. And so now I just need to wait for them to sign them and get them back. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go over to my email so that you guys can take a look at your client's experience. This is the email that I sent to my client, and this is what they will see. Marcel Johnson sent you a document to view and sign. And then there's my, my greeting to Tiffany and the body of the message and thank you, Marcel. So it's as if it came directly from me. So by them clicking on review documents, it's going to take them into DocuSign, and then they can just start the transaction by clicking start over here. Now, when they do that, they can review the documents and see what they need to see and sign where they need to sign, or they can click next and it'll take them to the next signature point that is needed. And then so your client will just be clicking on that. Now, once they click on that, they have the ability to edit the signature. So this is the one that it picked by default. So let's say they wanted to edit and select a different one. So they can either change the style. If they wanted a different font, some of them may want, for whatever reason, they just don't want that standard font. They have a couple of options on the font that they can have their name displayed with. And then let's say they wanted to draw their own. They have the ability to go in here and do their own. This looks a lot better when using like a touchscreen iPad or Android device of some sort. Doesn't really look as good with the mouse drawing, but you can cancel that or keep that. But you have the ability to change the signature options there, okay? So when we're okay with that, so we're gonna go ahead and just click okay and just use the defaulted one. Let's see. It disconnected me again. Sorry, give me 1 second.
Gotta love it when these things happen.
You still with me?
Oh yeah, I'm still with you.
Okay. Just making sure that the connection all together. Okay, here we go. I'm going to click OK. Okay. So again, this is what your client will be experiencing when they can go through here. They can click sign, adopt and sign. Please draw. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Select the style. This is the one we want. Now it's going to the next one. It's only going to ask you to adopt and sign on the first signature that you need to put in there. But once you've selected it, it'll just take you to where you need to sign in the documents. And as you see, when they sign it, it's just going to the next signature that's needed. So we're going to initial them.
So
And then
is
here's
this,
the,
oops,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. We have a question coming through. Are you able to upload your personal signature versus the fonts from DocuSign has in the program? And I think you just demonstrated that where you could draw the signature.
Yes, you are able to upload a personal signature by drawing your own signature. And as I was sharing, if you were to do that with an Android or some type of touchscreen device, it shows it better than it would on the mouse. But yes, you are able to do that, and I'll show you that again once we go back in there. But so go ahead, Tony.
Oh, and then basically you're signing so fast. When does the signer have a chance to read the contract? Should they be reading it or just signing it? Because how do they know they have questions? Is that something that's, you know, vital?
You have the option to navigate like I'm doing with my mouse here, where I could be reading the documents. So you can take your time with it and read it line for line. I'm just toggling with my mouse right now. And then once you come to the place where you need to sign, you can click sign. You can click it. So I'm going to clear this one as if it never happened. I'm going to click it. And then it's taking you to the next one. You know what? I know that Digital Ink gives you the opportunity to review as you're signing or just click to the next one. Tony, does the DocuSign have that one? I'm not really familiar with as I am with Digital Ink.
What does it have?
Well, because I see here that it's not really giving me the option to read it as I go. When you click on it, it takes you to the next signature.
Yeah, no, digital or DocuSign doesn't give you that choice. You're
Okay.
immediately dropped to one signature to the next.
Okay.
So I know that you can always go backwards to read it, but I know one of the things that we need to be careful of is that as agents, they have to make sure that their clients read and understand the contract. So it's really vital that an agent needs to make sure that they go over the contracts with the client at the time of signing, or else, like you're demonstrating, it's so easy to sign. You can sign a contract in less than 5 minutes, but then all of a sudden, you know, you can get in trouble because you didn't do your fiduciary duty. So as a reminder, Rancho just wants to make sure that all agents are actually going through the contracts with their signers at the time of signing.
Right. And we're going to go through the process with Digital Ink as well, so that you can see the benefits that one may have over the other. We're not recommending one over the other. We're just showing you the resources that are available to you. So back to this external document that we have here. This is just a flyer that I added on, and I indicated for the initial to go there and for them to sign there. Now, once this is done, I missed the very first one, so it took me back to it. I don't know if you guys saw that, but if you missed a signature, it'll take you back to the signature that you may have missed. Okay, and then now that we're on the bottom here, we can click finish. And there's the signature that it has provided for the documents here. Okay, so they're all done. And then you're going to be notified by email. Go ahead and close that out. You, as the sender, are going to be notified by email. Your document has been completed. So here's the documents in your email that have been completed. Now you can click here to view them, and you'll see them view. You'll see them here with the signatures that are present. But I recommend that if you wanted to forward or use them in another format, to go into zip forms directly, and then you'll be able to use them from there. So we're going to go back into zip forms, and in zip forms, I'm going to go to my list, the transaction, documents, and then I'm going to scroll down. These are all the documents that I have here. Here's the signature packet that I sent out for them to sign. So we're going to go ahead and click on this signature packet, and this is an audit sheet of all the forms. These are the forms that we sent out. Okay, we sent out the California purchase agreement, the annual bowling flyer, and the agency disclosure. These are the documents that we sent out. These are the signatures that are present on them, and these are considered fully executed. And you can see her signatures there. That's on that one document. And then here is on the agency disclosure. Where's the signature? There's the signature. Whoop. Oh, she didn't need to sign that one, huh? Here's a residential purchase agreement. And the signature is there, okay? So that's the process using DocuSign, okay? Now, as I was sharing before, with the default settings, going into Me, Profiles and Settings, and then Settings, if you wanted to switch to ZipLogix, you can just go ahead and click on ZipLogix. You don't have to do any login or anything with that because it's already a benefit of your membership. So you just go in there and then you click Save. User preference has been updated. Okay, since it's been updated, I can go here and just click close, and now I'm back in my transaction. So I'm going to go back into the Johnston transaction and the documents, and I'm going to send another packet. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click e-sign, and then there's the packet that I already sent using DocuSign. You see the DocuSign logo already there. I'm going to do a new packet. Okay, I'm going to send the same documents. I'm going to add another external document. And click OK. My documents are selected, so I'm going to close. So these are the 3 documents that I want to send to my client to sign. Now, this process, as you can see here, we're going to be going through this with the ZipLogix DigitalInk process for that. And again, if you wanted to add an external document, you could do that there. So we're going to click Next. Now, here's the parties that are listed for me to sign. And again, if we clicked all of them, they would all display here the same way it did using DocuSign. And then you can have the order that you want them to sign in, right? Now, I'm going to remove the other 2 because I don't want them there, but also you have the option of cyber security protection. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, but in the DocuSign process, this was not available. So you have cybersecurity. This is additional cybersecurity protection. What this here is, it'll send an SMS authorization text code to your cell phone if you wanted to opt into that, okay? SMS, and then it'll allow them to put in the phone number for them to do that. Now, what this is a additional security measure that is provided to you guys through DigitalInk, and this is a $5 per transaction fee if you were to use this. So if you were going to do offer 1, offer 2 on the same property, that one-time $5 fee would cover all of the cybersecurity, additional cybersecurity for the SMS authentication in that process. But if you're looking at the same buyer putting offers on multiple different properties, well, each offer that you put in on a different property would have to incur the $5 fee per transaction. I hope that I'm making that clear. So in this one transaction, you can send as many offers, as many documents for the $5 security fee. It's a one-time thing, but in multiple transactions, you would have that per transaction, okay? We're going to bypass this and just leave that as it is. And we're going to remove the other 2 people, so I can only have it go to Tiffany. All right, so now that I have it here, who I want it to go to, I'm gonna select Next. And then here's another opportunity for you can do the cybersecurity. It's just an additional layer of protection, but right now we're gonna do no thanks. So you could have done that there, or where that pop-up screen lets you know about that as well. Now it has prepared the documents that I've selected to be sent out for signatures, okay? Anywhere that Tiffany needs to sign, it's gonna go ahead and place that signature on there. So here's an example of the forms that we were looking at. And there's a place that Tiffany needs to sign. So there's where her signature is. If I had the other people that I needed to sign, this is where we can change between the different responsible party signature. And then we're going to go down to our external document, because remember, this is a CAR form. We don't need to tell it where to sign because CAR knows where the signatures need to go. But now we have uploaded our external document. This is the external document that we have here. Now we can drag the signature as we did in DocuSign. Now we're doing it in a DigitalInk, where we're going to have the person sign there, and we want them to initial here. Okay, so this is what we've done on the external document. Now all the signatures that are in place, we can go ahead and click send. Disclosure regarding agency, seller, brokerage firm. Document needs to have at least one. Oh, okay. So what's happening here, and I'm glad that happened in the live training, you can't send out the form unless it has a person assigned to sign it. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back again, and I'm just going to remove that document because it doesn't need to be signed by a borrower. So that's done. So now I'm going to go forward again, and I only want this to go to Tiffany. Signer row has already been added. Okay. There we go. And now we're going to go next. Let me make sure that external signature was added on there to the external doc. It's there. I don't know if you guys notice how I'm scrolling down on the side here, but if I wanted to just go to the other document, I could have just did this drop down box here, and it'll take me directly to that external document. So all of your contracts that you're sending out would be listed here. So you can just put this drop down arrow and click between which contract you want to navigate to, and it'll go directly to that contract. Okay. So now all of my signatures are in place. So I'm going to go ahead and click send to send this out. And it is by default called a signature packet 2. You can rename this to whatever you like. And this is the body of the email that's going to go out. And then we can just click send here. Now, you see how it says signature packet was successfully started. The reason why I want to bring your attention to successfully started is because right here, it says action required. So you may have pressed send on that last part, but the action is required. The email was not actually sent, okay? So the action that's required is just having you double verify here. This is the documents that you wanted to send out. And now we're going to go ahead and click email. Now, when you click email, it brings this page up here. You can have the subject of your email message or personal through the email, and then clicking send. Now that's a success. Your email has successfully been sent, okay? The reason I bring your attention to that process is because when you click OK, it's going to bring you back to this screen. And if you go away from your computer and come back, you may see action required and click email again. It will send him a second email. So if you've already done that process, then all you have to do is go up here and click close. Okay. So now there's signature packet number 2. I'm sorry, signature packet number 2. And you see the DigitalInk logo there. That's letting you know that you sent it out using the DigitalInk signing feature. Now I'm going to go back here to the home page, and that's in DigitalInk. Now I'm going to go to my email so that I can show you the signer's experience through DigitalInk. They're going to receive an email just like this one. Let me go ahead and open that up. Your documents are ready to sign. Hello, Tiffany. This is Marcel, Rancho Southeast. And then they can click sign documents. Now, once your client clicks on sign documents, it's going to open up Zip Forms DigitalInk. And then it's going to give them the greeting here. And of course, they have to accept the legal consent. You can click on here if you want to read it in more detail, but if they don't accept it, then they won't be able to proceed. So we're going to accept it, and then we're going to go to next. It's pretty user-friendly, and as you can see here, before we even started the signing process, DigitalInk gives you the opportunity to make those changes in the fonts, okay? This is the defaulted one that they have, the TJ initials and the Tiffany full name there. And so we can click this box to choose a custom signature. Now, these are the ones that we have, these are the font options that we have to select from. There's 6 here, okay? And then as someone asked a question about drawing your own signature, you can do your own signature here. So you can do your own signature there if that's the one you wanted to keep. You can do your initials here. And if that's what you wanted to keep, you can click Let's Go. Now, here's the option where Digital Ink kind of skipped from signature to signature. Okay, I'm sorry. DocuSign skipped from signature to signature. Digital Ink gives you the opportunity to let me review, or if you want to just go. Okay. And it explains to you right here, select go will jump you to your first action and guide you through the document. If you rather go through your own pace, choose let me review so that you can read it, okay? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna click let me review so that you can see, we're gonna scroll through here and then now we come up to a port where it needs to sign and we'll have the option to sign. And now it placed the signature in there. Now something I wanna bring your attention to also, once I get to the next signature, I'm going to go ahead and sign here. You see right here, my progress. This is a progression bar letting you know how many signatures, how much further you have to go to complete all the signatures, okay? So we're going to scroll to the next signature and we're going to sign that. You see the progression bar is going to fill in as well there. So I'm going to go to the next one and I'm going to skip it on purpose. And then we're going to click this one. Now for the sake of training, I'm just going to start going to the next one so we don't have to read it. I'm going to click next. Initial, next, initial, next, initial, next. And as you can see here, the progression bar is still filling up there up top, gives you an idea of how many more signatures you have. This is optional. You have optional, initial, sign here, sign here. Okay, now we should be coming up on the external document after this signature. Here's the external document, and this is where I wanted to have the initial, and this is where I wanted to have them sign. Now I'm at the end of the documents here, and I'm like, so what's going on now? Okay, by clicking next, it should take you back through to where the signatures were already put in, and you'll be able to see that, oh, okay, this one was missed. So because this one was missed, and then I initial it, now it's letting me know that I'm done signing. And then you can stay here to review the documents with your signatures on it, or by clicking finish, you're notifying Digital Ink that you have completed the signature process. Okay, so here's where they say thank you to your client for signing online, and you have the option to review the documents, or you can just click close. And then you can join the Zip community by signing up, but that's not necessary whatsoever. And then so now I'm going to go back into Zip Forms. Now, also this is what your client received. So your client, they say thank you for submitting your electronic signature, and that's completing their process. So they're going to get notified by email that they have completed the email process. Okay. So now we're going to go back into Zip Forms, and this is the notification letting me know that I use the same email, so I hope it's not too confusing. But now this email is to me. This email is to me letting me know that the documents are available. And I can forward the documents to whoever I want to or from here. But again, we recommend that you go back into Zip Forms. And then here's my transaction. So I'm going to go into the transaction. I'm going to go over to my documents. Then I'm going to scroll down. And then here is signature packet 2. That was signature packet 1 that we did with DocuSign. And this is signature packet 2 that we did with Digital Ink. So I'm going to click on this here. And now here are the documents that we had them sign. It's taking a while to open this page. And there's the signature available. The signature and the timestamp is on there. Signature and the timestamp. Okay, so that basically completes the e-signature process with DigitalInk as well as Docusign. And is there anything else that you wanted to add on there, Tony?
Do you want to demonstrate what that DigitalInk 2.0 is? Because I know that's something that just was released on what was it on the 15th. So it is super brand new. But if I know the system, they'll probably wait a month before they get rid of DigitalInk 1.0. So can you demonstrate what 2.0 will look like or does look like now?
1 second. We're going to go in here.
Oh, and by the way, does anybody have any questions so far? It all looks really simple, doesn't it?
Okay, so if there are no questions, I'm gonna now. I'm gonna be honest with you and share that I just took this webinar. It started at 12, so I had 30 minutes into it before this class started. But it is fairly simple and user friendly. So I'm gonna go ahead in the same transaction. I'm gonna start a new packet, documents. I'm gonna e-sign. I'm gonna start a new packet. And then I'm going to send just the residential purchase agreement, okay? We're not going to add an external document this time. We're just going to go ahead and do that. So this is the document that I'm going to send. So right here, where I'm currently defaulted to the DigitalInk 1.0, I'm going to now use the new version of 2.0, okay? Now I'm going to proceed to the next part. And for the most part, a lot of the features are still the same as far as the signees and stuff like that. If I miss something along the way, Tony, please feel free to chime in because
Okay.
I know that you may have had a more extensive exposure to it than I did. But so this is who I want to have the document go to, and then I'm going to click next here.
Oh, and real quickly, there is a question from Anil. How
hmm
many how many signers can we add, or what is the maximum number of signers you can add? And I'm going to assume that's add to a document.
Well, as long as there's a role for them to sign, there'll be a place you can add as many that are in that role to sign. But so Tony, let's say, and I'll defer this question back to you. Let's say there's 3 buyers.
hmm So if there's 3 buyers, you usually only have room enough for buyer 1, buyer 2, but then this is where other contracts come involved. But you could technically put that third signer to sign the contract. It'd be a little tricky to have their name printed on the contract, though. So this is where other contracts like the ASA, the additional signature addendum, will kick in. So that one allows for 3 extra signers, but you can put in as many of those as you want. So I've seen people with 12 signers on a contract, just the first 2, buyer 1, buyer 2, or seller 1, seller 2, and then they had was that 3 ASAs, or I'm sorry, 4 ASAs, where they showed the other signers agreeing to the terms of the contract because they signed that one. If that answers your question. And Marcel, so
hmm
what we see here is it looks very similar all of a sudden to DocuSign with this DigitalInk 2.0, except instead of flags, they've actually got the person's printed name. Can you show how you can add in a signature spot for the signer?
Yes. So right here with this drop down box, if you had multiple signers, this is where you would click the drop down box and all of your signers would appear. And then you could select which role that you were assigning to a location. So right now we're assigning Tiffany, and then we're doing, these are the features that we can have. So by clicking on the drag and drop, it has more features that pop out here. The sign here that's displayed here, that's what this first one is. If it's optional for them to sign, that's where you can drag and drop this one. If they need them to initial, this one. If the initial is optional, you can do this one. Now, this is the initial group There are very few forms that the initial group will need, but this is where you have the option for a group of people to check the box. Is that right? Am I explaining that right, Tony?
Yeah.
Okay. And then if they need to put an X to check a box, if check a box optional, check a box mandatory, and then this is where they can put the radio button. If there's options, like for example, let's say in this particular setting here, let's say we wanted them to be able to select one of these boxes that, or select one of these boxes. You have the option to help them do that there. Now you see how I dragged that and put that over there? You have the option in the little toolbar that's under it. There's a little bolt here for settings where you can delete that because I don't want that in there, or you can just click on the trash can and it'll delete it. But yeah, so these are the signatures that you can you see. It's I'm telling it that I want it to sign there, but I don't need to do that. So just show that. Is that what you wanted to show them, Tony?
Yeah, and then if you, well, and I think you've got one more, or at least the PDF file. Did you select the PDF file?
I didn't upload the external file on this one.
Oh, okay. Then I would send it out and see what the signer goes through,
Mm-hmm. All
because
right,
I
so
do
we'll
believe
go
the email looks a little different.
okay, finalize signing setup. You have successfully completed a correction of signing. You can customize the invitation with your subject and your text, or you can send the invitations for them to sign. Now, as you can see, that packet 3 has went out. E-signature packet was successfully started. Okay, so now this is the third option of what your client's experience is going to be like. Let's see here, refresh this. I didn't get the email yet.
It may take it a second. Hmm.
Let's see. Am I able to marcelj@rsaor.com? Yep, that's the
Yep.
right email. So it's pending. Um, hmm, let's resend it just in case.
Well, I definitely like this new screen here for Authentisign compared to what we're used to seeing with DigitalInk. Here you've kind of got the, you know, a nice little easier. This is what resend is. This allows you to edit. You get to see the add signers. So it looks like you can add signers just in case you forgot to include somebody in that session. So instead of having to restart it, it looks like you can add extra signers before even the first person signs the document. Does that make sense?
I'm not really sure why I haven't received the email yet. I don't know if maybe that is something because it's still new or
It might be. It might take a little bit longer, but hopefully and again, it was only released 2 days ago, so I'm
right.
sure there might be some extra bugs, but at least very, very soon, agents will, you know, we'll be working on that Digital Ink 2.0.
And we'll release, we'll do another training session with the 2.0 version as well as we play with it and feel secure that it's working efficiently for you guys. But for the most part, that we did a Docusign e-signature as well as a digital ink e-signature. And are there any questions? Tony?
Um, Not that I can. Oh, um, are there? Is there one? Is there one that's a preference over the other?
We don't have a preference, like we don't recommend one over the other. These are just um, made available to you because a lot of people have the DocuSign accounts that they have subscriptions for. So DigitalInk made it compatible with the system. Now, as you see, we went through the process. There may be one feature in one that a user may like that's not in another, but for the most part, they both have a lot of the same features and settings and executions in them. But we don't recommend one over the other. It's just user preference.
Awesome. Does anybody have any questions whatsoever, or any other questions? So far, I
There it
don't see
is.
any. Oh,
So
did you get
now
it?
that, yep, I just got it. Okay, so here it is. So
Well,
now
it looks
here's
like it's actually coming from you, which is different. So it looks like the email is not saying no reply on it.
like
It's actually coming from you.
directly from me, correct?
Yeah,
Um, so it has your name, it will have your name on there. So the person that's receiving the email, they'll be under the impression that they're receiving it directly from you. You did send it to them, but it goes through Authentisign. So here's the process that they'll get, and then we'll click on here, start signing.
and oh, that's nice. Preparing 16 pages with 22 signature blocks.
It's giving you a little bit more information as to what you're about to experience. So you can know already that you're going to have to sign something 22 times. Now here on this page here, this is where you can do as you've done before. You can select a font style, and then by clicking here, you can see they have 5 fonts that are available for you. See, we're going to just click this one and save, or we can do a signature, and that you can do in this box here. Let's
That's
see.
kind of nice.
Yeah, it actually looks a little bit better than the other one did with the mouse. But my handwriting is bad regardless. So, so, and then here we're going to do the initial. So there is the name and the initial. So you can do the signature or you can do the font style. I'm going to go ahead and just go back with the font style. This one, I'm going to save this one. And then I'm going to accept. So now that we've selected the font style, we'll be navigating through the documents here. And so it didn't even tell us whether or not we want to read the whole document or skip to the next one. It just starts you out on here. So you can just go down here, and this is where we need to do a signature. We can just click that. And then now it's forwarding us to the next one. I see that there. So by clicking sign here, it's jumping to the next one. And I'm
Wow,
just clicking on it. Go ahead,
that's
Tony.
pretty quick. No, that's pretty quick.
These are optional ones. That's why it's making me accept or decline. And then signing here. So the signing is complete. So you can stay and review the documents, or you can complete signing. And just you can give them a heads up now that if they skip forward, that it's not completed. If they stay and review, they can still review it before it's submitted, okay? So by clicking complete, then it's going to go ahead and say they reviewed and completely. Okay? And it's going to And then we're going to go back into zip forms where we should see that third signature packet is complete. And then
It hasn't gotten in there yet, but it will.
there it is. Oh, yeah. So with us all experiencing this together, it appears that there's still some delay kinks they got to work out on that. So probably should get in here and play with it. There's you can't break it. but just expect, there it is, third signature packet. So there's the third packet. And then here is the document, California Residential Purchase Agreement.
So instead of being 30 seconds instantaneous, it's now taking maybe what, 2 minutes to get into your transaction, which is still amazing.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're going to work on improving that time. So this, again, like you said, it was just released 2 days ago.
For sure. And then the signatures on the document look amazing. Yep.
There's the
Yeah,
signature of the document.
that's awesome. Are there any questions on any of this?
So how many attendees do we have signed up, Tony?
For the next class or for this class?
Well, no, for this one.
This one we have 23 attendees. So really amazing that everybody wanted to learn the new system. So we really appreciate everybody attending today's webinar. Hopefully you're here for this afternoon's webinar at, what was it, 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock.
And what are we going over in that one, Marcel?
That will be zip forms. Ooh.
Zip Forms Advanced?
Zip Forms Advanced. I'm sorry. With yes, well, there's more tips and tricks within Zip Forms Advanced with the share button. So how you can share documents with your clients, as well as other tips and trips with RPR, importing data directly from the county recorder and tax assessor into RPR. There's just a bunch of things that we can go over.
That's awesome. Well, just want to thank everybody for attending today's webinar. I hope you all really enjoyed learning how to digitally sign documents using either Docusign or DigitalInk's platforms. These are really great, useful tools to help get your clients to sign contracts quickly and efficiently. And of course, really what's nice also is with the stay-at-home order that's currently in place, you can now, if you're not doing it now, you can now get your clients to virtually sign documents. Just make sure that you give them a call or do a FaceTime with them or even do a Zoom with them. And that way you can go over the contracts just before you send it out for signatures, and then give them a call just in case they need some help going through the contract and they get hung up. So thank you again, Marcel. This has been a really great class. We've gotten some really great positive feedback that they really enjoyed, or some people have really enjoyed today and the topic and the pace. So with that said, I want to thank everybody for attending and hope to see you this afternoon. And if not, hope you guys have a really great and fun weekend.
Thank
Do you
you all
want to
for
say
attending.
anything? Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Alrighty.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.